look at how lucky we are to be right now. Look around, look around. In Philadelphia, Angelica Schuyler, Hamilton, it all kind of came to me this morning. If luck can be a mathematical equation, it would be luck is equal to preparation plus opportunity. I have no conflicts. How does an orphan, immigrant, bastard end up standing in front of you this morning? I'm not Alexander. When Dr. McCamey asked if I could be part of today's presentation and program, I'm deeply honored for that opportunity. Having lived 74 years, 10 of which was outside of this country, I've learned that it takes much to be here. Preparation plus opportunity is equal to luck. Did you know that in this room, I can't believe it, you represent 2% of the American population with DNP PhD. Less than 2%. This room, it is a rarefied opportunity to celebrate. I want to use the word genius deliberately. Look around. Less than 2% of the US population look like you. Look like me. Is that crazy? With great power comes responsibility. I've been mentoring individuals for 25 years before I got my doctorate, and I continue to mentor them, and over 20 of them are now successful CEOs. I know you all can raise your hand when I ask the rhetorical question, how many of you have mentors? Because I'm sure you know how important it is. But I'm going to talk to you about mentoring in a different way. And I will start with some definitions. I don't read slides. You all have PhDs in DNP, so you can read your own slides. So, to me, I've been successful, not because I'm bragging, because I raised 3 children, 38, 34, and 32, all college educated. I paid off my mortgage. I paid off my doctoral degree. So I know from my personal experience that success is defined as fulfilling my responsibility as a husband, father, son. I buried 2 sets of parents. They didn't want for anything because I did what I could do. So success, yes, you know, lots of alphabets behind our names. Is that success? Sure, yeah, that's one metric. But what's important? What's really important? That's where mentoring comes in. Because for me, mentoring is loving someone. Not in the sexual, romantic notion of Romeo and Juliet and Hallmark cards. I'm really talking about look at you and ask, what do you want to be? how do you want to express your genius? And I ask that question with that word because we shy away from it. And I dare you to shy away from me when I say you have a genius you need to share with the world. We came here with a light. We came here in this vessel for some reason. I don't know what that is for you. And I'm still discovering what that is for me. I'm still trying to figure it out. But most importantly, I'm trying to express it, and I'm trying to share it. I'm trying to inspire, and I'm also learn to figure out how to learn from you. So mentoring, yes, it's defined. I know how to cite quotations, yes. I provide attribution for everything I say. But it's more than just that. It's loving someone in a non-judgmental way. And you may be, the average room age is about 30, right? So you may be 30, but you have wisdom to share. So mentoring is not a unidirectional phenomenon. It's bidirectional. When I mentor, I learned so much. One of my 12 years of mentoring just became the COO of a large healthcare system in San Francisco. We met when I was doing a presentation at the American College of Health Executives. He came up to me and said, "Would you mentor me?" I said, "I don't know you, but I love the fact that you came up to me and want to do that. Let's have a conversation." So over the past 12 years, I've gotten to know Paul. And I've seen him get married, move from a director to a vice president of operations, and now he's COO of one of the large academic medical centers. Am I happy for him? I don't know. I don't know that word. But do I understand that he's on a trajectory that matters? Because I want to be there for him. And we have touch points once a month, more often if necessary, because he's available to me and I'm available to him, and I've learned so much from him as much as he's learned from me. So how do you show up putting aside your own worries, because we all have them, financial, academic, personal, political, we all have worries, but how do you put that aside for 1 hour, once a month, more often as necessary, and say, "I'm here, I'm listening. What's going on?" He's got strategy 1 minute. He's trying to figure out how to work with individuals who are challenging his authority in another. In another, his wife is trying to figure out how she's going to support her 2 adult sons, his stepsons. It doesn't matter what is brought. He knows that I'm going to be totally present and we're going to work it through. So for me, as a person who's studied leadership and who's thought about my own development, who's nurtured others to become CEOs, being, whether you call it a nurse or a nurse practitioner or a physician or doctor, lawyer, Indian chief, whatever it is, being is a complex psychosocial phenomenon. Complex because there's stuff going on inside of us, between our ears, between our head and our hearts and our guts. And if we don't tap into that, if we don't get in touch with that and let it fuel us, guide us, and if we don't share it with someone else, it'll mess you up big time. So being present requires being centered on who you are and how you feel. But let me change that a little bit too. There's something beyond showing up. We come from somewhere. And I hate to spoil it for you, but we're also going somewhere else. I don't know if you know that or not, but this isn't it. We go from beginning to this point, then we die, and something else happens. I don't know what that is. But unless we acknowledge and tap into that reality and guide what we do every day and how we show up and how we love and how we act in every role that we have, we're not being connected. We are disconnected, and we are numbing and anesthetizing ourselves to get through the day. But if we tap into, gosh, we came from somewhere, we're here, and you know what? I accept the fact that this is not it and we're going somewhere else. I'm not going to tell you what that is. There are names for it, phenomena for it, but that's not my job here. I'm just going to say, I'm going to introduce you to the concept egoance, which is to say, it is a definition that you can look up, I got it cited, is to say, I know that I live in a relationship with others. I know that. I embrace that. I draw upon it. But I also acknowledge that I have a responsibility to act on that knowledge and that truth. I have relationships that have brought me here. An orphan in Korea, no parents, no future, and two strangers in Birmingham, Alabama decided to take me and make me a part of their lives and gave me a future. I owe them. I owe thousands of other brown kids who were rejected, left, turned into slave prostitutes, and went into other kinds of infamy. I owe it to that generation because I was spared that. So I have a responsibility, and now I'm going to fulfill it. I have fulfilled it, and I'm still trying to figure out how to fulfill it. So egoance is important as a phenomenon, as a concept, and as a fuel to figure out where we're going. So if you want to be successful, which I know you think you are, and you are, but you've got a long ways to go to get here and beyond, and it takes egoance, and you need to both mentor and be mentored. So that's it. Simple as that. All right? Questions? Thank you. Questions? Please, come down and say hello. Tell me who you are. I'll come up to you.
My name is Fred. Hey, nice to meet you. Thank you for the talk. So my name is Fred. I live here in Philadelphia. I'm also an adjunct faculty here at Thomas Jefferson University with the BSN student. That's a great question, and I'm about to take on a career as a neurocritical care nurse practitioner. And the question I have, you already touched on it with the experience with Paul, is how do you ask somebody to be a mentor, your mentor? Because I thought it wasn't, hey, can you be my mentor? But it turns out that's how. But is it really for most of the person? How, do you look at that person you look up to and go approach them? What is the best way to approach somebody to ask for mentorship?
You've answered the question. It's a rhetorical question. You ask. Now, look, asking a person that you don't know takes some investigation. Guess what? The internet gives you all kinds of information so you can find out who they are. But you look for someone with integrity first. Integrity. You look for someone with a reputation that you believe reflects the person you want to become. You look for humility, right? Someone who's not looking to make another person that looks and thinks like them. They respect and love you for who you are. So you have to do your homework and your research and your due diligence, and then you have to say, I, with humility, come to you, and I'm prepared to show you what I want to work on. So you have to do your homework too. You have to do a self-assessment, like, what am I good at? I'm going to put that aside. What do I need to develop? I want to be honest with myself. That takes egoance too. that takes self-assessment and understanding to say, put the bravado aside. Put the striding and the pretending aside and say, okay, what do I really need to work on? And ask. Come prepared. Do your homework. Make it a request initially for 6 months to a year. You're not asking for a lifetime commitment of marriage. You're asking for a specific set of things that you believe that they do well, that you want to work on because you have done your assessment, and you have a tentative plan. That's it. Thank you. Happy to entertain one or two questions until the panel is assembled. So are there any other questions from me? Please.
Hello, thank you for having this session this morning. I guess my question is from the opposite end of the spectrum. This is maybe my 4th or 5th conference this year, and the alarming trend that I'm seeing is the lack of mentors across disciplines. I am approached by medical students asking me to mentor them, Black women, Black men, and they are just so thirsty and hungry. And so often I find myself saying, baby, I don't know how to mentor you because I'm not a physician, but I'll give you what I have. And I don't have a lot, but I'm still going to give you what I have. And so how do I, well, and I say a lot like in terms of time, right? Because I mentor so many people at this point because I refuse to turn anybody away. It becomes, how do I have time? But at the same time, I realize that these babies need help. So it's like, you know what? It may have to be a text message. It may have to be an email. Maybe we can check in on the holidays. I'm going to talk to you while I'm driving my kids, to, but just realizing that these babies need help. And even though sometimes they're not babies, they're grown people, they have nowhere to look to. And many times the faculty don't look like them. And so when we shut ourselves off because we get busy and burnt out and sometimes stuck in our own worlds, the damage that does to the people that are in the pipelines.
Sure. Thank you for the question, and it's a very important one. And in terms of all the things that I've done, one of the things I did do was create Leadership Lessons From, which is a platform, a 501c3, with the intention of creating a mentoring platform for anyone and everyone in the healthcare field. I try to narrow it to healthcare. And so what I've done is leaned heavily on my colleagues all over the United States to say, I need to sign up and be a mentor for at least a little while. And what I try to do is match up those babies, as you call them, who are looking for mentors to come and be part of a mentoring relationship. So I guess much as Dr. McCamey has created this organization with others to get where we are, the short answer is we have to work together to formalize and agree on a mentoring process. We have to prioritize how, yes, we've been given, but we also intend to give back. And it may be in aggregate easier to split hours as opposed to individually splitting your personal time into 15, 20, half an hour increments. So I think together, collectively, through DNPs of color, which is something that Dr. McCamey and I've been working and discussing, is formalizing a mentoring program inside of DNPs of color, as well as wherever you are, to use Booker T. Washington's phrase, dip your buckets where you stand. Wherever you work, wherever you are, if you can also work to identify and formalize some process for mentoring, it helps to provide water to the parched in the desert. So, it may take some time to create an organization and a process, but there are plenty of ways of doing it. But to be intentional about it and creating a platform, much as I did and much as many of you are thinking about doing and actually doing. So that's one answer, is to formalize a process and extend but you also need to recruit individuals. And young as you all are, you have wisdom and experience to pass on right now. So don't say, when I become a grizzled old man like me, or when I become a wise elder, then I'll mentor. No, You start right now because, as I said before, you already got here and you're already successful. So you have the option and the opportunity to mentor right now, okay? So is the panel assembled and ready to go? Okay, well then I'm going to step aside and thank you so much.